From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, police arrest suspected kidnap kingpin, rescue 4 victims in Niger State. Water scarcity biting harder as Ngurore residents call for attention to their plight. World Health Organization declares monkeypox a global emergency. And on the foreign scene, Russian missiles strike Odessa 1 day after grain export deal agreed. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Hour. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Now the news in detail. Police in Niger State have arrested a 40-year-old kidnapper and informant, Bashir Abdullahi, of Bangi Mariga local government area of Niger State. The suspect, a businessman, was said to have been arrested in Kwantagora local government area while plotting with some members of his kidnap team to abduct the former chairman of Mariga local government and father of a former commissioner in the state. The report.
Parading the suspects at the police command headquarters in Mina, Niger State, the police spokesperson Wasiu Abiodun said during interrogation, the suspect claimed that the former local government chairman owed him 5.8 million naira, adding that if he had succeeded in kidnapping him, he intended to demand a ransom of 10 million naira.
Alhaji Bashiru confessed that he planned to kidnap a former local government council chairman of Mariga and the father of a former commissioner in the state. He claimed that the former chairman owed him a sum amount of 5,800,000 naira. And if the chairman is kidnapped, he is trying to realize 10 million naira ransom from him.
The suspect, Bashir Abdullahi, also confessed that he had invited members of the team from the Republic of Niger and Kayama in Kwara State and other places to help him execute his kidnap plans. Similarly, the police command also paraded 2 suspects, Muhammad Aliyu, 25, of Emitachigi village in Kacha local government, and Muhammad Ndako, 30, of Gurara area of Mina, for alleged criminal conspiracy, culpable homicide and robbery. Abiodun said the suspects were trailed to Paiko, where they were arrested in the process of selling a stolen motorcycle.
The suspect went away with the victim's motorcycle and later joined Muhammad Ndako, his accomplice, in his residence within the area. While both of them took the motorcycle to Paiko for sale, where they were apprehended in the process of selling the motorcycle, the 2 suspects confessed further to have conspired and stole another motorcycle at Bida within last year, that was 2021, and the motorcycle was sold at the rate of 40,000 naira.
The 25-year-old principal suspect, Muhammad Aliyu, father of 4 whose wife was heavily pregnant for the 5th baby, said he used the proceeds of the crime to solve his family needs. Abiodun said the suspects would be charged to court after the completion of investigation.
Meanwhile, bandits on Saturday attacked a village in Munya local government area of Niger State, abducting no fewer than 9 people. The bandits attacked the village in the early hours of the morning, according to the police public relations officer, Niger Police Command, Wasiu Abiodun. He said the police are on the trail of the attackers after being alerted about the attack and have secured the release of 4 victims.
0520 hours. Armed bandit terrorists attacked Kuti village, Razerikin Power in Munya local government, where about 9 persons were abducted. Meanwhile, police tactical teams with vigilante members were drafted to this area, and as a result of the sustained pressure, 4 victims were rescued unhurt, while the teams are still on the trail of the hoodlums to rescue the remaining victims. However, the Commissioner of Police Niger State Command, CP Monday Balakurias FSI, commended Niger Light for giving such useful intelligence for proactiveness in ensuring protection of life and property, while urging them to sustain this effort as security is a collective responsibility.
And operatives of the Kaduna State Police Command have rescued 8 people who were kidnapped by bandits in Chukun local government area of the state. The operatives, who are attached to Buruku Police Division, intercepted a group of bandits while on a routine patrol between Udawa and Buruku villages along the Kaduna-Birningwari highway. According to the spokesman for the command, Mohammed Jalige, the bandits forcefully stopped 3 commercial vehicles, whisked away the passengers and headed into the forest. He said the police operatives, on sighting the gang of criminals, immediately engaged them in a fierce chase amid an exchange of gunfire. Jalige said the bandits fled into the forest with varying degrees of bullet wounds, abandoning the 8 kidnapped victims behind. A lawmaker, Ishaya Bakanu of Song Local Government Council of Adamawa State, has been killed by gunmen. A gang of armed men stormed the lawmaker's residence in his hometown, Banga, in the early hours of Saturday, shooting his son and whisking him away before killing him a few hours later. The police public relations officer, Adamawa Command, Suleiman Nguroje, confirmed the incident. According to him, the security agencies are working to apprehend the perpetrators, while the police are investigating the killing. Bakanu was, until his death, the deputy leader of Song Local Government Council. He represented Gudu Mboi ward in the council. A United Kingdom-based doctor has been accused of conniving with former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu and his wife to traffic a homeless man to the UK for harvest of his kidney for their daughter. The doctor, Obinna Obeta, from Southwark, South London, was charged under the UK Modern Slavery Act, according to the Daily Mail reports. Obeta, who appeared at Bexley Magistrate Court on July 13th, is charged with arranging the travel of 21-year-old David Ukpo from Nigeria to the UK. He is also accused of conspiring with 60-year-old Ike Ekweremadu to arrange or facilitate the travel of the man, with a view to him being exploited through organ harvesting. The man is said to have refused to consent to the procedure after undergoing tests at the Royal Free Hospital in Hampstead, northwest London, according to the Daily Mail. And at least 75% of the 8,139 estimated population of Ngurore, one of the fastest growing settlements of Yola South local government in Adamawa State, is facing lack of potable drinking water. The situation, according to members of the community, make a larger percentage of the population suffer from various waterborne diseases. Silas Lawan visits some of these settlements and now files in this report.
Ngurore is one of the largest commercial cities of Adamawa State. However, this community has been battling with lack of potable drinking water. As you can see behind me here is a river. And this river has remained the only source of drinking water to the community, which is actually unhealthy.
Aside from having an estimated population of 8,139 people, Ngurore is one of the biggest weekly cattle markets in Adamawa. Authorities in the area revealed that apart from the weekly market, Ngurore has fertile farmland that contributes immensely to the economic development of the state. But yet, the population has no clean drinking water. This is their major source of drinking water, the Ngurore River. According to some of the residents, one of the most challenging aspects of their life is the high price of water, usually unclean.
Despite the water being usually unclean, sometimes to get it's another tax. Now as we speak, one wheelbarrow of water goes for about 300 naira in Ngurore. If you see how this water used to be tapped, I believe you would not agree to drink from it. But for us, we don't have any option. That's why it's now a problem for us here in Ngurore.
Ga kogin kuma ruwan yana da tsada saboda babu yanayin da gwamnati ta yi wajen sarrafa ruwan ya isa gidan kowa ko anguwan kowa. Wannan shine matsala.
Other residents of the area appeal for government intervention, especially on provision of clean drinking water to the area.
This river you are seeing is the major source of water to almost half of Ngurore population. And you know what? The water is not clean because it's the same water sometimes you will see animals taking from. Seriously, the water is unhealthy. We need government to assist us.
Seriously, many of our communities here in Ngurore, we don't have clean drinking water. This Grore River, which remains our major source of drinking water during rainy season, is giving us health problems like typhoid and malaria fever. That's why we are looking for an urgent intervention from the authorities concerned.
Issues of lack of clean drinking water, the resident believed, are serious cases that authorities should not leave unattended to. From Yola, Salis Lawan, Trust TV News.
Kankia is one of the towns affected by a perennial water shortage in recent years in Katsina State. The Adwa and Shema administrations in Katsina State had established semi-urban water schemes to provide adequate water to the people of Kankia town. However, these water schemes are now endangered by erosion, which has destroyed some boreholes and pipes that supply water from the boreholes to the main tank. Abdullahi Yamadi visited some of the facilities and now reports.
Kankia town has a population of over 1.5 million people and depends largely on this water scheme for consumption and domestic purposes. People here, mostly low-income earners, buy a jerrycan of water between 40 to 50 naira, a situation they say is beyond their income. This is our only hope of livelihood, as water is life. Should this scheme be destroyed, now Kankia town will be in trouble. Let me passionately appeal to Katsina State government to please come to our aid. One thing people ought to know is that the borehole that was eroded is the main borehole supplying greater percentage of water to the people of Kankia town. It's the main source that was affected badly. The only source of water in Kankia town are these semi-urban water schemes being threatened by erosion. Beyond that, the erosion is also threatening farmlands. Already, the situation is affecting the supply of water to residents of Sabuwar Abuja, Kanti and Gachi communities, which are benefiting from the affected boreholes.
This is the time of rainy season. Normally, most of our boreholes and the connection of the water supply is erosion by the time of water supply now. So when they go on, at least to come and see the problem so that they can solve the problem properly, I will be able to get enough water supply in most of our areas.
Although the semi-urban water schemes were established by the state government, Kankia local government has committed resources to mitigate the disaster, but to no avail. Everybody in Katsina State knows our problem as a people. Our number 1, 2, 3 problem is water, and allowing these boreholes to be washed away by water or erosion means disaster to us. The local government has made all the necessary correspondences informing relevant authorities about our plight. These projects require urgent attention to save the entire water scheme from collapse. This portends danger especially to residents of Kankia town. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And to politics now, where the Northwest Zone of the All Progressive Congress APC says for the party to avoid a repeat of what happened in Osun State in subsequent elections, measures must be put in place to reconcile aggrieved members across the zone and the nation at large. The Northwest Publicity Secretary of the party, Musa Lafia, at a press briefing in Kaduna, said the party will do all within its power to reconcile members of the party in the North ahead of the 2023 general election. The report.
According to Lafia, failure to reconcile members of the party in Osun State caused the party governorship election in the state. He noted that such grievances unseated PDP in 2015.
We cannot deny the fact that some people are not happy with the way their states are run by perhaps the governors in some quarters. And The primary elections come with its own problem. And it is evident that when PDP was governing this country, these grievances are what destroyed the PDP. And this is what we are not allowing to happen in our own party. That's why we are working toward making sure that if there is any person aggrieved with any decision, we will sit with him.
Melafia said all members of the party in the zone must be consoled for the reconciliation exercise to be effective.
This is of course necessary because there will be those that will be offended in one way or the other. Their grievances might be legitimate or perhaps illegitimate, notwithstanding. As a political party, you must console them. You must reconcile with them. You must work with them. And most importantly, you must give them back their sense of belonging, which they might have lost in the process.
The APC Northwest Zone says the zone is still a stronghold of the party, adding that with unity among the party members, they will win the 2023 general elections.
The controversy surrounding the religion of the Osun State Governor-elect, Senator Ademola Adeleke, has continued to dominate discourse in the state, especially as Nigerian Christians oppose the Muslim ticket of the All Progressive Congress presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and his running mate, Senator Kashim Shettima. Hamidu Egbadi in this report brings us the opposing views of religious leaders in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, as it concerns same-faith tickets in a multi-religious state like Nigeria. His report is presented from our studio.
The just concluded governorship election in Osun State to many people is a litmus test of the 2023 general elections in Nigeria. With the outcome believed to be a reflection of the people's will, many are hopeful that next year's general elections will be credible. However, the faith of the winners of the election remains a contention, particularly among religious circles. Though in the forms Adeleke submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission, the governor-elect is known to be a Christian. He is, however, claiming to be a Muslim and has added Nuruddin to his names. Whereas his father, Senator Raji Adeleke, was a Muslim during his lifetime, the mother of the governor-elect was a Christian. Adeleke picked a Christian from Ile-Ife, Prince Kola Adewusi, as his running mate, and they won the election as majority of the people that voted during the election downplayed the religious sentiment. The president of Coalition of Muslim Organizations in Osun State, under the auspices of Osun Voice for Muslims, Rights and Justice, Malam Ishaq Mohammed Jamiu, said politicians including Adeleke and Tinubu take politics as their first religion and take their faith as secondary.
We are the one giving ourselves unnecessary headache. To an average politician, the issue of religion is very secondary. Adeleke would have thought that riding the horse of bringing a Christian as a running mate would be better for him than presenting himself as a Muslim and having somebody else as a Muslim. And for him to have claimed Islam, whether we like it or not, he has the right to do so because he has the origin of Islam. Whether we are doubting Islam or not, religiosity is a claim.
Bishop Sheun Adeoye, the director of Media Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria and general overseer, Sufficient Grace and Truth Ministries, Rehoboth Arena, Okini, Osun State, said since religion, according to him, is a thing of the mind, people should take Adeleke for what he claims, be it Muslim or Christian.
Well, to me, religion is a thing of the mind, and nobody will say in particular what kind of religion the person belongs. In particular, that the governor-elect Nuruddin Ademola Adeleke told us that it's Nuruddin, and that and after, even before the election, he has started going to mosque, started observing all the tenets of faith of Islam. So everybody believes that, well, he is a Muslim, and so if people are not coming around and saying he's a Christian, well, so be it. But as far as I'm concerned, he has told us that it's Nuruddin, and let us take it like that it's Nuruddin.
Meanwhile, for those sincerely and genuinely interested in governance, the issue of the religion of politicians, many say, should not be taken serious, as focus should be on competence and capacity to ensure good governance and make the country better.
And still talking politics, presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the 2023 elections, Atiku Abubakar has challenged the standard bearer of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu, to subject himself to an hour-long television interview. Reacting to the allegation of Tinubu campaign organization that he was not prepared to lead the country because of some of the issues discussed during his last television interview, the former vice president dared Tinubu to take up the challenge. Atiku said he was amused to read the knee-jerk response from the Tinubu campaign organization to the wave-making interview he granted. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. And still to come on the news, how 35-year-old invents locally made incubator. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us.
Every patriotic Nigerian should hear this. Any politician who means well for the people will never allow themselves or their supporters to engage in any violent, destructive activities. No politician who truly wants to serve the people and develop the nation will encourage his followers to destroy properties or take human lives before, during, or after the elections. The Nigerian public must watch out for these traits and isolate any politician who encourages supporters to engage in violence. No genuine politician or patriot will cause trouble and seek to destroy the very society which they aspire to lead or develop. Politicians who have the good of the people at heart will not allow themselves or their followers to engage in violence, destruction of properties, and then taking of lives. Be vigilant. By their words you shall know them. Shun violence. Stay away from politicians who want you to do so. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NORA.
Nsukka zone, they are all a galas. Cultural wise, their masquerades are a gala masquerades.
Gala Nation had embarked on expansionist war severally.
Nobody dig his grave. Now he dig his grave, now he bury himself.
If you are to be given a position as a traditional ruler, it must be the Ata who will give you the staff in those days.
We are from Igala.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV's News Hour. Now look at our top stories. Police arrest suspected kidnap kingpin, rescue 4 victims in Niger State. Water scarcity is biting harder as Ngurore residents call for attention to their plight. And in other news now, the World Health Organization, WHO, has declared the monkeypox outbreak in more than 70 countries an emergency of international concern. The WHO label, a public health emergency of international concern, is designed to sound an alarm that a coordinated international response is needed and could unlock funding and global efforts to collaborate on sharing vaccines and treatments. WHO Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus made the decision to issue the declaration despite a lack of consensus among experts serving on the UN Health Agency's Emergency Committee, making it the first time the chief of the UN Health Agency has taken such an action. Announcing his decision to declare the health emergency during a media briefing in Geneva, Tedros confirmed that the committee had failed to reach a consensus, with 9 members against 6 in favor of the declaration. He said there are now more than 16,000 reported cases from 75 countries and territories and 5 deaths. Meanwhile, since the outbreak of the monkeypox disease, Nigeria has so far had 117 confirmed cases since January 1, 2022. This was disclosed in the weekly report on monkeypox by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, week 28, ending July 17th. According to the report, 338 cases were suspected from January 1st to July 17th, 2022, with 117 confirmed. Of the number, 80 males and 37 females were confirmed from 25 states, which include Lagos, Adamawa, Delta, Rivers, Edo, Bayelsa, Nasarawa, Plateau, and the FCT. Others are Ondo, Anambra, Cross River, Kwara, Borno, Taraba, Oyo, Imo, as well as Kano. Also on the list are Katsina, Gombe, Niger, Ogun, Kogi, Bauchi, and Akwa Ibom. Lagos, Adamawa, and Delta lead with 15, 11, and 10 cases respectively, while Niger, Ogun, Kogi, Bauchi, and Akwa Ibom are lower on the table with 1 case each. 3 deaths were also recorded from Delta, Lagos, and Ondo. Kaduna State Government has purchased and distributed 15 brand new ambulances to rural health facilities to boost quality healthcare in the state. Speaking during the presentation of the vehicles to representatives of the health facilities at the Ministry of Health, Permanent Secretary Adamu Mansur said the gesture is to enable people, particularly those in rural areas, to have quality healthcare services. The report.
According to Adamu Mansur, there are over 1,095 primary healthcare centers and 31 secondary health facilities across the state, adding that the ambulances will be used to deliver services to these facilities.
Ambulances will contribute their own quota, to the realization of this remarkable mission that we have put in place for addressing the health challenges of the citizens of Kaduna State.
The Permanent Secretary explained that most of the health facilities that will benefit are in rural communities in order to address health challenges in those areas.
Each of these ambulances that will be given to the facilities are expected to cover, those catchment areas where you have some primary healthcare centers that would require the services of the ambulances, and where the patients would also require attention in the secondary healthcare.
I present to you this ambulance for use during emergencies.
He said the ambulances will also be used for emergency cases during disasters to evacuate victims to hospitals for treatment.
And with Nigeria's population expected to hit 216 million by November 2022, stakeholders in Gombe State have recommended child spacing to maintain a healthy population. Speaking in an interview with newsmen, the Director, Community and Family Health at the Gombe State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Mariam Abubakar, raised concerns over the burden of the world's population, especially on Nigeria. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
Nigeria's population is about 206 million and is projected to reach 216 million at the end of this year, making it the third most populous nation in the world. However, the country is battling insecurity and inflation that plunge a greater percentage of the citizens to untold hardship. To commemorate International Population Day being celebrated July 11, the Challenge Initiative is sensitizing women in Gombe on child spacing for a healthy population.
By mid-November this year, the population of the world is going to be around 8 billion. So that is much compared to some years back around 1950s, 80s. Now in Gombe, we are about the population of 3.2. And of course, you know the situation of things now in the country. The economy is not very friendly. So when you say child spacing, I will look at it this way. If a person or an individual or couple have 10 kids, we know what it means now. To send them to school, to feed them, accommodation-wise, because if you have 10 kids, with you and your wife, you are 12. So you not go and stay in two-bedroom apartment or, one-room apartment. That's not going to be convenient. So health-wise, and if one of them, let's say, for instance, has tuberculosis, you can imagine she can easily pass it around. So what are we advocating? Child spacing, the woman herself needs to be healthy. It is only with health you'll be able to do a lot of things in life.
Some religious leaders bothered about a possible population explosion are volunteering to enlighten their subjects on family planning.
I have taken it upon myself to also create awareness to fellow pastors like me, to speak to them, to also speak to their own followers, and to speak to also the community where they find themselves, so that gradually the importance of child spacing can circulate the whole nation at large.
Situation we are now it indicates that if you do not practice this child bed space, children will not get a good education.
Medical experts say, in addition to economic benefits, family planning reduces maternal mortality by 40%. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
And the Center for Fiscal Transparency and Integrity Watch has called for transparency in the dealings of the Nigerian government to foster growth and development in the country. The executive director of the center, Umar Yakubu, while addressing journalists on the sidelines of a sensitization workshop on its Transparency and Integrity Index, explained that they are working on new measures to prevent corruption and improve governance and accountability. Yakubu added that this can only be made possible with a more transparent government that makes its dealings public.
On the reactive side, we want to see how we can do on the preventive side, which is by making MDAs, that's government agencies, to be more responsible in publishing information that is supposed to be out there in the public. We are not looking at corruption that's already happened. I think we should all be tired of all the news. Money has been stolen, this has been recovered. Yes, that will continue ongoing, but we should be tired of it. What we're looking at are how do we prevent that from happening? And from our little research, we found out is the stronger the democracy is, the less likelihood there will be corruption.
Corruption thrives in an environment of lack of information. And so those who carry out corruption don't want to give out information. We already have the modalities for it, because the scores of all the agencies that we looked at were put on our first position. And they have been informed of their scores. And we are open to helping them to score better.
Potters of Girinshinka have called for support to improve the business of pottery as one of Nigerian ancient arts that has helped promoting and putting the country on the world tourism map. The women who are operating in an open space lamented that the rainy season is not friendly to the clay pots. Gaza Yakubu met with the potters and brought back this report.
We want our environment to be fixed. This is the rainy season, and pollution can be expensive and doesn't last.
With the rains, Rukaya hurries to cover her pots to prevent them from damage. For 30 years, she has been in the business of poultry, yet she's currently under no structure to protect the earthenwares.
Then, we used to have a place where we keep our pots, but it was demolished. We're now under the sun. We're asking for assistance. We need shops.
Poultry has been an ancestral business for them, and the challenges of the modern market has given them some concern. They are craving for intervention that will improve their skills.
We need the government to provide us with the service of one who can teach how to make pottery with machines.
With the development of the modern technology in poultry, the locals are still in business and believe they will not go extinct, as their life revolves around making pot of all shapes. Although making pot may not be dangerous, staying on the roadside while doing this could be. Gaza Yakubu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And 35-year-old Abubakar Sani of Jos North local government area of Plateau State has invented an incubator that runs on electricity and cooking gas. The 35-year-old BUK graduate said his locally made incubator has broken the monopoly of foreign incubators and is serving as an alternative to the foreign ones that solely rely on electricity. Ado Musa completes the report.
This is Abubakar Sani, the manufacturer of the incubator, coupling the component of the device at his workshop located around Zololo Junction in Jos North local government area of the state. He said after his graduation from the university, he believed that securing white-collar job was difficult on the one hand and incapable of catering for one's basic need on the other hand.
It's a fridge.
Okay.
I will use it to construct an incubator inside because the insulation is very excellent. This one is a discarded fridge. We go and buy it very cheap. This one is also an inverter, as you can see here. It was developed, designed here in this workshop. As you can see, these ones are incubator controllers. They were brought from far away for conversion.
He said he recycled old refrigerators and other metals for body of the incubator, which will serve as the setter where the eggs will be arranged for heating, adding that he buys other small components from China to manufacture the incubator.
We discovered we can produce something like this. It's a brooder. As you can see in here, it's a gas burner. This is a burner, and this is where you connect the gas cylinder on it. And this is the wire you connect on battery. Any small battery can function. So when it is operated now, heat will be coming out from this place. And this one is a sensor. Someone can calibrate the degree of temperature you want to supply the small chicks with. It's normally around 38 degrees Celsius for 1 to up to 4 days chickens.
Abubakar says he also invented a brooder which runs on cooking gas to warm the chicks when there is no power.
Also here is an incubator that contains 1,650 eggs, as you can see from inside. This is the controller also, as you can see. This is the light, and it's also dual purpose. It also works with gas and electricity as source of heating.
He says the locally made incubator is more reliable because it can be run with cooking gas while still maintaining the needed heat for the chicks, compared to the foreign type which only runs on electricity. adding, the locally made one has an alternative source of power. Umar Muhammad, a poultry farmer, says the invention of the locally made incubator has improved his business, adding that he has abandoned the foreign one for the local one.
I do hatching a lot, and we've been having challenges with hatching our chicks because the incubators we use electric power, and you could see how epileptic the power supply is. So this affects significantly our hatching and our productivity. At some point, we have to drop hatching using AC incubators until the technology of engineer Abubakar came along.
Sani said, in order to further break down the monopoly of the foreign incubator, he is also planning to invent an incubator that will run on electricity, gas, and solar energy to reduce the cost of hatchery business in the country. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
You're watching Trust TV News Hour. More news after the break. Do stay with us.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Hour. Now, 4 suspected members of the Eye and Aye secret cult gang, said to be linked with various killings in Badagry and its adjoining communities, have been arrested. These suspects were tracked to their hideouts after weeks of discreet investigations by detectives from the State Anti-Cultism Unit. Those arrested were identified as Benga Francisco Olariwaju, a.k.a. Benjin, aged 40, Ashokere Shegun, a.k.a. Seriki, aged 36, Adeniran Ibrahim, a.k.a. Kush, aged 23, and Jimo Sodiq, also known as Irawo, aged 27. Lagos State Police Public Relations Officer Benjamin Hundeyin, who confirmed the arrest, said the suspects are members of rival cult groups. He said they were nabbed over their nefarious and criminal activities plaguing the Badagry area of Lagos. Meanwhile, suspected cultists in Osun State on Saturday killed the son of the Olofa of Ofatedo, Oba Okuloye Abdullahi, Prince Yunus Abdullahi. The 43-year-old prince was shot dead in the chest in his house at Ofatedo at 12:17 a.m. Hamid Oyegbade reports that the killing of late Yunus resulted in protests by youth in the area. The situation was brought under control by men of the Osun State Police Command and community leaders. The police public relations officer for Osun State, Yemisi Opalola, said the policemen are on the trail of the suspected cultists.
The name of the deceased person is Yunus Abdullahi Okunloye. He's the direct son of the king, the Oba Abdullahi Okunloye, the Olofa of Ofatedo. So he's the direct son of the king and he's my uncle. And around 8 o'clock this morning, I just got a call that he was shot to death. So when I got there, I discovered he's already died, and the policemen has already taken his corpse to their custody. But according to what I heard, they said there is a clash between a cultist and a commercial vehicle, which is popularly known as Onikorope. So
the younger boy who knows about it is not around now. He went for the burial rites. The whole community is put into chaos so that people grow wild. Hence, we started begging them, appealing to them to take it cool. Our Olofa, the father of the dead person, is an aged man, the Olofa of Atedo.
And the police in Zamfara State have arrested the state correspondent of leadership newspapers, Umar Maradun, for an undisclosed reason. Umar Maradun was arrested in his hometown, Maradun, in the early hours of Saturday and brought to the State Criminal Investigation Department in Gusau, the state capital. The officials of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, Zamfara State Council, and some members of the Correspondence Chapel went to the State Criminal Investigation Department for his bail, but were turned down by the police. The union leaders argued that the law stipulates that Maradun should not be detained for more than 24 hours, wondering why he should not be granted bail since it was not a criminal case. When contacted, the State Commissioner of Police, Ayuba Elkana, promised to wade into the matter. Right now, we'll join Chiamaka Nwafo for business news.
The umbrella body for domestic airlines in the country, Airline Operators of Nigeria, has notified passengers of air transport services that the sector has been hit by a major crisis of acute scarcity of Jet A1 fuel. Airwin's spokesperson, Obiora Okonkwo, in a statement titled Public Notification on Acute Shortage of Aviation Fuel and Flight Disruptions, disclosed that the disruptions are foreseen but unintended consequence of the aviation fuel scarcity in the country. This is the second announcement on the disruption of services over the scarcity of aviation fuel in 3 months. The first was in May. Similarly, the management of Ibom Air has alerted its passengers of impending flight cancellations due to the continuous unavailability of aviation fuel in the country. Ibom Air stated that the fuel scarcity had greatly impeded on its operations, adding that it might now result in some flights being cancelled. The airline made the disclosure on Friday in a statement signed by its General Manager, Marketing and Communication, Anyekan Esienit. The Nigerian Naira on Friday fell at the parallel market to 658 Naira per dollar amid high dollar demand. The figure represents a depreciation of 38 Naira or 6.13% from the 620 Naira it traded last week, with traders putting the buying price of the dollar at 640 Naira and the selling price at 658 Naira, leaving a profit margin of 18 Naira. However, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria, the parallel market is not a true reflection of the country's exchange rate, noting that the official buying price stood at 414 Naira 72 Kaba, while the selling price stood at 415 Naira 72 Kaba. The Nigerian Association of Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA, has urged the federal government to address the necessary economic parameters to prevent Nigeria from slipping into recession. The national president of NASIMA, John Udagbala, said this on Friday during the association's third-quarter economic briefing in Lagos. Udagbala said the COVID-19 pandemic, coupled with the Russian-Ukraine conflict, has put immense pressure on the productive capacity of the economy. NASIMA, while expressing grave concern about the state of economy, particularly the declining national output, said the economy faces a likely recession by the end of 2022 unless the government implements a policy that places priority on improving domestic production. And that's it on Business News.
And now look at the foreign scene where Russian missiles hit Ukraine's southern port of Odessa on Saturday, the Ukrainian military said, threatening a deal signed just a day earlier to unblock grain exports from Black Sea ports and ease global food shortages caused by the war. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the strike showed Moscow could not be trusted to implement the deal. However, public broadcaster Suspilin quoted the Ukrainian military as saying the missiles had not caused significant damage, and a government minister said preparations continued to restart grain exports from the country's Black Sea ports. The deal, signed on Friday by Moscow and Kiev and mediated by the United Nations and Turkey, was hailed as a breakthrough after nearly 5 months of punishing fighting since Russia invaded its neighbor. Meanwhile, the African Union on Saturday hailed a landmark deal between Ukraine and Russia that will allow Kyiv to resume exports of grain through the Black Sea and relieve a global food crisis. Ukraine's farms are a major source of grain for the world market, particularly in the Middle East and Africa, where food supplies are particularly tight. Cereal prices in Africa have surged because of the slump in exports, sharpening the impact of conflict and climate change and sparking fears of social unrest. A statement from the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, welcomed the signing by Russia and Ukraine and praised Senegalese leader and AU chair Macky Sall for calling for the urgent need for the resumption of cereals from Ukraine and Russia to global markets during a joint AU mission to Sochi in early June. And hundreds of people have rallied in Tunis to protest against a draft constitution proposed by President Kais Saied 2 days before a planned referendum on the charter. The National Salvation Front alliance of opposition groups led a march through the Tunisian capital on Saturday to reject the president's constitution change and decried what they call an undemocratic and illegal process. Many of the protesters were from the older generation who had lived under former President Zine Abidine Ben Ali, who took part in the 2011 revolution which forced him from office. Among them was Amna Fati, an Ennahda supporter, who said she was there to fight for freedom and democracy. And now for a look at sports, where Nigeria has emerged the overall winner of the 11th Africa Arm Wrestling Championship, which ended on Friday in Lagos. The Nigerian teams won 27 gold medals, 27 silver and 22 bronze medals at the 3-day championship, which was held at the Indoor Sports Hall of the National Stadium, Surulere. Nigeria's overwhelming performance will go down as their best so far in the competition, as no fewer than 45 arm wrestlers competed to achieve the result. Coming in second position was Egypt with 24 gold medals, while Ghana claimed third position, clinching 18 gold medals, 22 silver and 5 bronze. No fewer than 12 African countries participated in the competition, which kicked off on July 19th and ended on July 22nd. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has released the match officials that will take charge of the final of the 2022 Africa Women Cup of Nations. Host Atlas Lionesses of Morocco overcame Nigeria Super Falcons to reach the final, while Banyana Banyana of South Africa got the better of Shepolo Polo of Zambia to book their place. Nigeria's foremost match official, Mimisen Iyohe, is among the match officials that will oversee the final slated for Morocco. She will work as the first assistant referee for respected arbiter Selima Radia Mukasanga from Rwanda, who will be the center referee of the historic encounter. Fanta Idrissa Kone from Mali will be the second assistant referee, while Maria Paquita from Mauritius will be the fourth official. And that wraps up Trans TV News Hour for tonight. For more news, you can subscribe to watch us live on YouTube and, of course, follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Have a good evening.